again, just whilst we're waiting for the microphone, given everything you've said, fantastic overview of the role of cereblon and image and cell ones. How far away do you feel we are, therefore, from being able to undertake predictive testing by whatever technique that may be to identify which drug we should be giving our patients? Because clearly there's an association between the different forms of resistance, but actually it's not a kind of 100% correlation, so therefore do we just do what we do at the moment, which is we basically try it and see if it works, and then we switch to something else? Or how far away from a kind of smarter approach to drug selection?
I mean, this is actually extremely challenging to come up with a plan. I think some people have tried, you collect, let's say, a bone marrow aspirate, and you actually treat them ex vivo with various combinations of drug and figure out whether there is a phenotypic observable effect. I think that undertaking that for myeloma is almost impossible in my mind. Are there other ways of doing it? I don't think that we are there yet. I think there's a lot of excitement about various kinds of integration approaches, multimodal and various kinds of approaches that you could take. But if you ask me today, and I'm a translational scientist, I'm not a discovery scientist, I do not have much patience to wait for discoveries to turn up and then I'll take them on. It has to be hitting the clinic pretty soon. So if it's about 2-3 years time frame, it has to happen, right? That's a narrow time frame through which I see the utilities of various things. And I'm not sure we are there yet. I think what you're going to have to do is to figure out. The good news is, though, aren't we doing phenomenally well with the therapeutics? I mean, look at the quad data. I mean, I'm impressed by what the French have shown with the Perseus, right? This Philippe Moreau's trial is the median PFS could be up to 15 years from diagnosis. Is that right? Then everybody should be thinking about only older patients. Because this could be a huge impact in terms of, you may not need genome anymore, I guess, right? If you have that level of outcome, I think we are long way into the future figuring out what to do. I think the strategies may not be predicting as we may have needed. You know, when drugs are not very efficient, you really need to work out. We have a golden rule in the industry. I might reveal this to you. Okay. So when do you want to do a diagnostics? There's only one area where you need to diagnostic. If the frequency of an event is 50-60%, nobody needs to do diagnostic. They will give the drug, it doesn't work in one. 50-50 chance, right? It's only when the person is a small chunk that if you have 5-1 and you give the drug to 5 people to find out only one response, that's a case where you need a diagnostic. Then in between you play along and figure out. Image, we never developed any diagnostic for image. Even with this extremely challenging molecules in terms of how they would work, what they would do. We combine, we figured out clinical development strategies, and then we move this along. So I am not particularly anxious that we will be requiring predictive models for patients yet. Maybe in a few years' time it will change, but I'm not convinced that it is there yet.
We still got time.
One quick question.
So the fact that you don't see cereblon loss is really, really interesting. So that could be interpreted to mean that cereblon, mutant or not, is necessary for myeloma. And does that mean that even a mutant form has some important scaffolding role that we're not looking at?
Well, it's a brilliant question.
Anjan, could you speak behind the mics, please?
I'm sorry.
Can't hear.
Yeah, so the question was, because we don't see cereblon loss in the patients, does that mean even the mutant form or dysregulated form of cereblon has some biological role in myeloma cells?
Only some role, but some necessary role.
Some necessary. So if you delete cereblon from myeloma cells, they survive as well as wild type cells. So there is no direct effect of loss of cereblon.
Is that true if you see
I cannot recall that. I have to check. But as far as we have studied, there was no biological effect of cerebral loss. It's not an essential gene in myeloma. But icorosilus, that is correct. It's funny, I know. That's it.
Any other questions?
Great, well, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, so just to pause for a couple of minutes, so those of you who are joining the scientific session, please, if you could make your way out to the Portland room at the back, please, and we'll just give ourselves a minute or two whilst that happens.